Oh, sorry, yeah, Dharma Foundation course is full, except Zoom. Okay, so the on-site one is totally full.
Okay, thank you, Sister Eileen, for the introductions. Good morning, Dhamma brothers and sisters. Yeah, so it's a fortunate week that I'm invited again to share about the ghost stories. Doesn't mean that I'm expert in ghosts. I think last year we did once, and Sister Eileen found it very entertaining, and then want me to share another story because of that. Okay. Yeah, but I think before we start, it's good to calm our mind down. Okay, we do a short meditation, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes of meditations. Okay, the basic core of meditation is really about developing our mind. And the first step to develop our mind is really about how to settle it down. In our normal daily life, we are always busy. Our mind are conditioned to think fast, to make decisions, to move. And sometimes, if you see Singapore pace, if we move 1 second late, the impact is a lot, because every second is money. But in meditations, we need to learn how to settle it down so it can work more efficiently. It's a bit like charging our phone. We cannot use our phone 24 hours a day all the time. Once in a while, we need to plug it to the charger, let it charge for half an hour, 1 hour, and then it can run efficiently again. That's the first step in developing our mind. So with our eyes closed, let's settle down by appreciating where we are now. It really took effort to be seated in this Dharma hall. The minimum effort is to have the intentions to go out of our house, to step out of our comfort zone, of having relaxing and cooling Sunday morning, and make our way here. Do appreciate our intention and our effort that put in, and tell ourselves there's a good job. Let's appreciate where we seated. There's a nice meditation cushion here. Everything is provided for us. Many people have to work so hard to get a meditation cushion. But where we are now, it's been provided for us. We just need to use it. Let's be grateful to the cushion, and also to everyone who have chipped in their effort to make this cushion available for us. Let's be grateful for the volunteers in BF who have invested their time to set up the Dharma hall, lay the cushion nicely for us, so that we can be seated comfortably. Let's appreciate the serenity and the comfort of this room, of this Dharma hall. Feel the cool, the peace. Feel the silence. You may hear the hum of the aircon. It is something that we may not pay attention to when we come to this room. Probably we took it for granted that the temperature of the room is supposed to be comfortable. But now we can feel and be aware where this comfort comes from. Imagine if the aircon machine is spoiled. I think by that time, only then we feel that we need an aircon. So let's appreciate and be grateful. Now turn our attention to our body. Let's feel what our body is feeling right now. Do I feel tired? Do I feel energized? There's no right or wrong answer. Let's just observe the reality as it is and acknowledge it. Even if there are pains or discomfort in our body, we don't have to blame or curse our body. Rather, this pain and discomfort are partly because the body has done its best to support us. So look beyond the pain, look beyond discomfort. Be thankful to our body. Be thankful that sometimes, even though our body feels tired, it still wants to do its best to support us. So embrace our body, be grateful, and wish our body to be well and happy. Thank you, my body, for doing your best all my life. Without you, I don't think I can function as who I am today. Thank you for all the good things that you have done. At this moment, let's also seek forgiveness from our body. Sometimes we make it work harder than it should. Sometimes we don't really take good care of our body. Sometimes because of our craving, we may harm our body with inappropriate food or something unhealthy. Forgive me, my body, for all my ignorance, for all my greed, my hatred, that I intentionally or unintentionally do to you. I promise I will learn to take better care of you. Let's spend some quiet moment and observe how our body responds to us. As you observe your body's responses to you, keep sending your loving kindness to your body. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from all mental and physical sufferings. May my body always be healthy and strong, free from all discomfort. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from all mental and physical suffering. In the last few moments, just spend some reflections. Ask ourselves, how am I feeling right now? What's the difference between how I feel now and 10 minutes ago? Let's take 3 deep breaths at your own pace. At the end of the last one, you may slowly open your eyes. All right, I hope you enjoy the 10 minutes of being with our best friend, which is ourself, our body, right? Sometimes we rely a lot on our body, but we may not pay too much attention or even like give the care that it deserves, okay? I learned this method, right, from one meditation teacher. And this method actually helped me in picking up how to do loving kindness meditations. Because loving kindness meditation is about developing or cultivating our unconditional love and how we can actually spread it to all beings. But in fact, the first barrier before we are able to spread it far and wide is the challenge whether we can actually cultivate loving kindness and develop it or maybe like spread it towards ourselves first. Okay, so I think this exercise, if you find it helpful, you can practice it, right? I think that really build a good foundations for us to develop loving kindness meditations. Okay, yeah. And I think why I chose this loving kindness also because when we talk about ghost stories here, can I have the slides? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when we talk about ghost stories here, maybe the first impression we have about ghosts is always something spooky, something that we fear of, right? Something scary. But actually, if you learn the suttas, or if you learn the Buddha's teachings, we learn that actually ghosts are just any beings like us, okay? The common denominator of all beings wanted to be free from suffering. We want to attain happiness, be it happiness in the present life, future life, or ultimate happiness, nibbana, right? So if human want to have all those, ghosts also the same, okay? And in fact, most of the time, in the recent retreat, Ajahn Brahm shared with us, right? Because Ajahn Brahm, of course, can see ghosts. So he shared some experiences, and he also told us, actually, if you can see ghosts, you will see a lot of branding about ghosts out there is actually not true. Yeah, so I think the ghosts will need rebranding because how they look like may not be like the one that we always imagine. Especially now that when we watch TV with AI and all, I think very easy people put in their imagination to portray how the ghosts look like. Okay? Yeah. So when we talk about ghost story, right, there's a place in the suttas actually to talk about ghosts. And interestingly, these are some interesting suttas. If you like ghost stories, when you read these stories, you will find it very intriguing, very interesting, right? Just a little bit, there's a collection in the Khuddaka Nikaya. Khuddaka Nikaya is actually what we call the minor collections, right? Because the suttas are put inside 5 books, 5 big books, right? The first 4 books are the 4 famous major Nikayas, right? I think most of us would know. The major Nikaya is like Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, and Anguttara Nikaya, okay? I'm not going to go into that, but these are the so-called the major discourses of the Buddha that were recorded. But there is one collection which is called Khuddaka Nikaya, right? This is a minor collection that normally not included in the 4 major Nikaya. For example, Dhammapada, we all know Dhammapada, the verses, right? So these are inside the Khuddaka Nikaya. And inside Khuddaka Nikaya, there are a lot of interesting stories, right? Including Petavatthu. Petavatthu is the stories about ghosts. Last year, when I gave a talk on Petavatthu, I shared some stories from this collection, from this book, okay? I think for the benefit of people who were not here with us last year, okay, so I think it wasn't shown there. Oh, the side is okay, only this side. Okay, as it's fixing up, I think I will just read out, right? Last year, I shared about 3 ghost stories from Petavatthu, okay? The first one is about pig mouth ghosts, okay? What is pig mouth ghost? This is a story about a monk come across a ghost, right? The ghost actually have a pig mouth. The other appearance was okay. It's just that the mouth of the ghost was like pig, okay? So the monk was curious. So he asked the ghost, right, what makes you be reborn in such a state, right? Being a ghost and then having a pig mouth. And the ghost actually shared the story that in the previous life he was a human. But as a human, he often speak very harshly, right? Speak falsely, basically like not a wholesome speech that the ghost actually exercise. So in the end, because of that actions, because of that unwholesome actions, the ghost was born as a pig-mouthed ghost. So the ghost, that appearance looked okay, but the mouth looked like a pig. Yeah, so it's a bit like, wow, it's a direct implication. You don't speak well, so in the end, like, you don't deserve to have like a good mouth. Okay? The second story was a bit more dramatic, about a ghost who is called an eater of 5 sons, right? What happened to this ghost was very pitiful, actually, because like every morning, this is a lady ghost, right? Every morning, she will give birth to 5 sons. So imagine, I think all the women here who have given birth, right? You know how it feels like to give birth. Giving one birth already like quite a struggle, right? This one is a giving 5 birth like every morning. Can you imagine that? And what happened is, this ghost, after giving birth to 5 sons, right? This ghost is very hungry. Same as other ghosts, same as us. When we give birth, I think we feel very tired, and then we feel very hungry, right? We want to eat. So this ghost actually want to eat, but the thing is, there's no food suitable for this ghost to eat. The only thing she can eat was the 5 sons. Okay, so actually, in the end, a bit like bo pian, right? A bit like no choice. Because she feels very hungry, so she will eat the 5 sons. So she eat all the 5 sons, then after eating, she didn't get full. For us, maybe eating one meat, we already feel very, very full, right? But for her, she didn't feel full. In fact, she's still hungry. But too bad. I think there's no other food that she can eat. And this cycle repeated again and again every day. So can you imagine? I think if we think about samsara, right, keep being a cycle of suffering, being repeated. So this is, I think, is a very so-called like unfortunate state, right? That you are repeated because you need to give birth to 5 sons again and then keep eating it. Okay? Of course, what's interesting is the monk actually asked this ghost, right? What happened in the past, right? That in the end led you to be reborn as a ghost in this state. So this lady ghost actually shared a story that in his previous life as a human, she actually has a husband. The husband was a very rich. They are from rich family. Then one day, the husband actually wanted to get another wife because this lady actually couldn't give birth, right? So the husband actually wanted to marry another woman to sustain the family lineage. So he asked permission from his wife. Can I remarry? Then the wife gave permission. Yes, you can remarry. And then like, basically having a second wife and then like continue your lineage from there, all right? But what happened was, when the second wife got pregnant, the first wife became very jealous, right? Because she became very jealous, so in the end, she caused the second wife to get miscarriage, right? She prepared poison for her and so on. So in the end, like the second wife got miscarriage, the baby was not born. So of course the family actually investigate, right? And then like they suspected that this is the action of the first wife. So they confront the first wife. Did you poison, your younger sister here, basically the second wife, and then like cause miscarriage? But this lady actually denied, right? And to prove that she didn't do it, she actually make a vow. Okay, she make a vow that if she was the one who did it, right? If she was the doer, so unfortunate state will happen to her, that she will be reborn as a ghost, and then every day she will have to eat her own children. And that vow, came true, became a reality, right? So quite dangerous making vow, especially like a false vow, in order to prove that you're innocent. It's like you are trying to escape from the present suffering, and then like you end up with longer term suffering, right? So that's the story from the Eater of 5 Sons. But I think my highlight from the previous talk was about the last one, the story about Venerable Sariputta's mother, right? So this is the story when Venerable Sariputta one day was actually, one ghost actually came to him. I think the ghost didn't came directly to him, but the ghost wanted to see Venerable Sariputta, right? And at first, when the ghost wanted to get in, she was stopped, okay, by the monks, right? You cannot go in, okay? Venerable Sariputta is inside. Then she said that you need to let me in because I'm his mother in the previous life. Okay, yeah. Then after that, the ghost actually managed to see Venerable Sariputta, and she explained to Venerable Sariputta that in the past she did a mistake, right? She was his mother, and then she made a mistake, and then in the end she was reborn as a ghost. And of course, Venerable Sariputta, out of compassion, wanted to save her, right? So what Venerable Sariputta did, she quickly gathered a few other monks, right? And then after that, they work with the layman to actually build kutis, okay? Build like a place for the monks to stay, okay? So build a complex, a kuti. So after they built the kuti, they actually donate it to the Sangha. So they make actually a Sangha offering here, a Sangha dana here, right? So they actually offer kuti for the Sangha, and with that great merits, Venerable Sariputta dedicate this merit to this ghost, which is his past mother, right? And because of the great momentum developed through Sangha here, can you imagine the Sangha, right? Not just offering food to the monks, but build the house in a way, the house for the monks to stay to practice. Then after that, it's donated to the Sangha, the biggest community. Then because of that, the Sariputta's mom passed away immediately, and then like reborn in the heaven as a deva. Okay, yeah. So interestingly, it's like there's a way. When I closed the story, when I closed the talk last year, actually I mentioned that there's a way for the ghost, okay, to be reborn in a better place, right? But interestingly, right, for them to reborn in a better place, obviously they need to do good deeds. They need to do good karma, right? The problem is, as a ghost, they are super limited. They don't have much capacity to actually do good deeds. Okay, so the field is not readily available for them. As human beings, actually for us, it's very easy. We want to do good deeds, we can just help someone, okay? We can just volunteer our time, we can give dana, we can do many things. But for ghosts, they can't, okay? And in fact, the fact that people generally cannot see them is actually a misfortune for them, because they don't know who they can actually ask for help. That's why they, for this ghost, in a way, she's still very lucky because she has very strong affinity with Venerable Sariputta, right? Because she was his past life mother. Because of this affinity, she still have a good karma to actually come to see Venerable Sariputta, and then like he got help. But another thing that is also equally important is the ghost must be able to rejoice in the good deeds that was done on behalf of her, right? Like for Venerable Sariputta, after he made like a big Sangha dana, so the ghost rejoiced, and because of the rejoicing, the ghost actually make good karma. Yeah, that's how the ghosts actually do good deeds, and these good deeds are the one that led the ghost to be reborn in a good place. Okay, yeah, so I think I close the session with the significance. That's why it's important for us to do dedication of merits, because in a way we really need to help these ghosts. Okay, now the question is, are we actually capable to help ghosts like Venerable Sariputta did? Yes? Who think is yes? Okay, who think is no? I think we are not as high level as the high monks like that, so that's why we cannot. Or maybe, who thinks is maybe? All right, I think fair enough, yeah. Okay, at least got hope lah. None of us feel like we don't have the capacity, but maybe some of us may feel we are capable, but we may not be at that level yet, but one day we can, could be, right? Or maybe we also feel that we actually are capable of doing it. So for today, I think I will look through a few more stories, right? A few more stories from the suttas, from the Petavatthu, that highlight a little bit about what lay people can actually do, right? Can we actually do the same thing, right? Helping them to be reborn in a good place, okay? Right. So first, I think I want to share with you a story of the ghost Matta here, okay? This is called Matta Sutta from Petavatthu 2.3. So the story is about a housewife named Tissa, right? So unlike the previous stories that I shared, most of the time is the 3 stories I shared earlier was about a monk met with the ghost, right? But here is about a housewife, right? Housewife Tissa sees a female ghost. So Tissa also asks her, okay? Yeah, so actually when you meet a ghost, don't just run, but ask the ghost. Like Tissa actually asked the ghost, right? You are naked and very ugly. Your veins are popping up. You thin person with your ribs sticking out, who are you? Okay? So Matta actually replied. So the ghost, when you ask her, the ghost feel very hopeful. Because like, oh, someone understand me, right? Or maybe at least someone is willing to engage in conversation with me. So she shared the story, right? My name is Matta and you are Tissa. And don't you remember, I was your husband's other wife. I did lots of evil actions and was born in the ghost world. Then Tissa asked her, now what evil deed have you done by body, speech or mind for you to have been born in the world of ghosts? I think Tissa remember her definitely, right? So Matta replied, I got angry easily and spoke harshly. I was very jealous, greedy and cunning. Having used harsh words, I've been reborn in the world of ghosts. Then Tissa said, yes, I remember you. You were very violent those days. Let me ask you something else. Why are you covered in dirt? Very dirty, right? Then Matta replied, do you remember one day you had bathed and dressed in clean clothes? I wanted to be more beautiful than you. So I wore a more beautiful dress than yours. But I saw our husband talking and paying more attention to you rather than me. I was extremely jealous and got angry. I took some dirt from the ground and threw it at you. As a result of that bad deed, now I'm covered in dirt. You get what you do, right? Yeah. Then Tissa said, oh yeah, I remember that you did throw dirt at me. Now let me ask you something else. Why are you scratching your entire body, like very itchy, right? Then Matta replied, one day, we both went into the forest to gather some medicinal herbs. You brought back the herbs, but I brought back plants that would make the body itchy. Secretly, I scattered them over your bed. As a result of that bad action, my body is always itchy. All written, right? Then Tissa replied, oh yes, I remember that morning when my body got very itchy. And here's another question, why are you naked? Then Matta replied, one day when friends and relatives gathered for a party, you and our husband were invited while I was not. I was very jealous and stole the clothes that you were going to wear to the party. That's why now I'm naked. So the quarrel is a bit like those that you watch in the drama, right? One wife jealous with another wife, right? Then Tissa said, yes, I remember you stole my clothes that night. I have another question. Why do you smell of excrement? Yeah, then Matta replied, you had nice perfumes, cosmetics, and necklaces made of flowers. I threw them into a pile of excrement. That's why now I'm very smelly. Then Tissa replied, yeah, I also remember when I found my perfumes, cosmetics, and flower necklaces in a pile of excrement. I would also like to ask you, why do you suffer so much? Then Matta replied, the wealth in our house was equally shared among us, but I didn't collect much merit. Therefore, I have to suffer now. She didn't do good deeds, right? So you warn me by saying, you are doing evil things. Happiness will not come from evil. So she remembered that Tissa actually once advised her to do so, right? Then Tissa replied, now you know, technically. You mistook me for an enemy when I was trying to help you, right? You were also very jealous of me. Now you can see the results of your evil. You had maids and servants in the house and plenty of jewelry. But now they are used by others. Wealth is not eternal, right? Buddha's father is coming home from the market soon. I think she's referring to the husband, right? Buddha is, I think, the son. So if he's coming from the market soon, maybe he will give you something. Because if he knows that you're coming back as a ghost, right, he may took pity on you and then want to give you something. Don't go anywhere. Wait until he comes. So that's Tissa's invitation to her, right? But Matta said, I'm naked and very ugly with veins popping out. It's embarrassing for a woman to be like this. Don't let Buddha's father see me. So in fact, the ghosts feel ashamed to be seen by the humans here. Okay, so it's not the fact that may scare him or what, but she really feel embarrassed, right? Then Tissa said, okay then, what can I give you or do for you which can make you happy and gain what you want? So Tissa is a very good person, right? She still want to help Matta. Then Matta actually make a request here. She said, can you invite 4 monks as a group and 4 individually? Okay, so 4 monks as a group, then 4 individually. So offer alms to these 8 monks and dedicate the merit to me. Then I will be happy and gain what I want. So Tissa fulfilled the request. She said, okay, I will do it. Okay, so she offered alms and robes to 8 monks and dedicated the merit to Matta. Okay, the result of this donation immediately took effect in the form of food, drink, and clothing for the ghosts. Okay, this is very interesting, right? Because sometimes we feel that, oh, I saw the ghost is naked, I want to offer clothes for the ghost. But physical clothes is a bit of no use for the ghost because the ghost cannot wear the clothes, right? So what you need to do is, you can actually offer robes to the monks, right? So as a result of that, you can set intention that may this merit be shared by this ghost, okay? And then she can be free from the suffering of nakedness, or she can have proper clothing. And this will appear, okay? If the ghost, of course, if the ghost has good karma to actually enjoy it as well. Because if the karma is very heavy, I think even if you do dedicate merits, there's a chance that the ghost may not be able to get the result that she wants, okay? Yeah, but the fact from the story here is if you do that, this is a way to help the ghost because the food, drink, and clothing were available for the ghost. Then she became pure, wearing the cleanest and finest clothes with jewelry. So become very pretty, then approached Tissa. Then, of course, Tissa, when she's approached by this being, she couldn't recognize her because very different, okay? Then who are you with heavenly beauty shining in all directions like a star? Why are you so beautiful? What merit have you collected when you were a human? Then Matta replied, my name is Matta and you are Tissa. Don't you remember? I was your husband's other wife. I did lots of evil actions and was born in the ghost world. But I'm very happy now, rejoicing in your gift. I don't fear anything. Okay? Then after that, Matta also wished Tissa well. May you live long, my sister, happily with all your relatives. And Tissa replied, yes, sister, one should practice the Dhamma and be generous by giving alms. The person who does this will be reborn in heaven where there is no sorrow. Okay? Yeah. So that's the story about Matta and Tissa. So you can see from this story, actually, Matta is capable of helping Tissa, right? Doesn't have to be Venerable Sariputta, make offering to the Sangha, right? But actually, Matta can also do that. Like a human, lay people can also do that. Okay? Yeah. So we are actually capable of helping them by dedicating merits, right? But if you notice the connection here, Tissa approached Matta because I think there is a connection that Matta knows Tissa, right? So I think if the ghost approach some random people, there's also high chance that the person may not know him, right? May not know the ghost. But here, she approached someone close. And if we talk about Petavatthu, there's one very famous sutta that I didn't talk about it in my former talk. But usually, when people talk about ghost months and so on, right? Even like when they talk about making offering for our relatives and so on, many of them actually cite this sutta, Tirokuddha Sutta, right? This is a very famous sutta because this is a sutta where the Buddha actually gave talk to the king, which is King Bimbisara, because the background of the story is King Bimbisara was having nightmare almost every day, right? So in his nightmare, he always saw like ghosts suffering, right? So he wanted to know, right? When he approached the Buddha, he wanted to know what happened, okay? Or what's the message behind the dreams that he had, right? So the story is one day, he make an offering to the Buddha. Then as usual, after the Buddha receive the alms and then like eat, after that, he will give a talk, right? So in this case, he gave a talk to King Bimbisara. Okay? Then the Buddha said, after they have been born in the ghost world, departed relatives will come back to their own houses and stand by doors. They also stand outside walls and at intersections. What the Buddha did was he was addressing King Bimbisara. Actually, all the dreams that he had about ghosts, right, they are all ghosts from his past relatives. And if you read the commentary, the relatives, not just the recent relative, but relatives from the past. I think even way back to the past Buddha's time, okay? The many, many past Buddha's time. So even though possibly like you don't know them already, but actually because of the very long time, but they are still your relatives. And then like they come and then like come back to their families, right? And they waited for them, okay? But the next paragraph you can see, some people in the family will enjoy delicious food without remembering their departed relatives. So sometimes, for example, when we have our relative pass away, maybe we still remember them for the first year, second year, third year. But maybe like 5, 10 years later, we may not consciously remember them or even like recall them when we have some good stuff we want to offer, right? I think we may have forgotten about our relatives. So these distant relatives are all basically forgotten. So King Bimbisara doesn't even know who they are, doesn't even remember them, okay? So they are forgotten because of their own bad karma, okay? If the ghosts still have good karma, I think people still remember them and then they dedicate merit to the ghosts. But here, don't have, okay? Now, some compassionate people offer delicious food and drink to virtuous people and share merits with their departed relatives, saying, let this be for our relatives. May our relatives be happy, right? So it's like, who are the virtuous people? Actually, people who are doing good, including the monks, definitely, right? So when, basically the story is about someone or some people actually offer good food to the monks, or maybe like to virtuous people, and then they share the merit with the departed relatives, right? So the departed relatives gathered to these places and highly appreciate the offering. So if they know, right, if they know that someone make offering on their behalf in a way like they share the good deeds with them, they bless their relatives saying, may our relatives who compassionately offered us this gift have long, happy, and healthy lives. And the givers also gain good results. Okay? Actually, not just ghosts. Sometimes, for example, if I do good deeds, then maybe I tell my wife, right? Hey, today I see someone in needs, then actually I help the person. And I think my wife will also rejoicing. He will be happy. She will be happy, right? So this is also like an act of rejoicing that is similar to what the ghost did here. And actually, by her rejoicing to my good deeds, that's already like good deeds for her. So the giver, as well as someone who rejoices, actually will gain, right? That's why dedication of merit is not something like transferring money. It's like if I transfer my merit to you, then I lost it. No, actually, if I share the merits to you, I double the merits, right? Because like I give chance for you to rejoice and then like do good deeds. Okay, so that's the benefit of doing dedication of merits. That's why whenever you do good deeds, don't just stop there, right? But also dedicate the merits to your past relatives, departed relatives, right? Or I think for simply speaking, you can also just invite all beings who have karmic connection with me, right? And then you dedicate the merits with them. In a way, you actually multiply your good deeds, okay? But multiply good deeds also because we want it to be shared, to be enjoyed by many others. Many others benefit from it, okay? Because it's a bit pitiful, right? If we make very good deeds, for example, like there's one, like strike a lottery, suddenly like we have very famous Ajahn, right? Or very famous monk who is already enlightened, for example. We don't know for sure, right? But I think we managed to offer food to this enlightened being. That one is a very rare occasion, right? So it's a bit pitiful if we don't share these merits. Okay, because like keeping it to yourself already good, of course, but it can be even better if we share it. Okay. Reason is this, in the next paragraph it was mentioned, beings in the ghost world do not farm, herd cattle, trade, buy, sell, or use gold and money. They cannot function like what human did. They only survive on merit shared by humans. Okay? As water that rains on a mountaintop flows down to the bottom, so will the merit shared from the human world reach the beings in the ghost worlds. Just as streams of water fill the ocean, so will the merit shared from human world reach the beings in the ghost world. So that's why one should share merits with departed relative, recalling, he gave to me, he worked for me, he was a relative, friend, and companion. Okay, for example, when we recall our parents, I think very easy to remember their good deeds. Like I think when we were baby, if they don't take care of us, obviously we may not survive, right? Or we may not turn out to be like who we are today. Okay, so recalling that they have done a lot for us, so we invite them to also like enjoy in the good deeds that we do, right? And this is, I think, interesting. Weeping, sorrow, and crying will not benefit departed relatives in any way. Okay, they will remain in the ghost world no matter how much we cry. Okay, so I think there's no use for us to invite people, pay them to cry in the funerals, because actually it doesn't do any good, right? It doesn't help much. Okay. Then the Buddha mentioned, Great King, the merit shared from donations given to noble disciples of the Buddha will be received by the departed relatives right away. They will enjoy happiness for a long time. So sharing merits sharing merits with departed relatives is a very good habit to develop. Yeah, so in any good deeds that we do, small or big, remember to dedicate merits to our past relatives. Okay? You have respected departed relatives and supported the monks. By doing this, you have collected much merit, which will result in extraordinary happiness for a long time, Great King. Okay? That's what the Buddha said. The original Tirokuddha Sutta is actually a verse. It's a bit like a poem, right? And I think I just like to highlight this poem, this portion of the poem, right, is something that we always cite, okay, when we do our service, actually, when we do our dedication of merit. The 𝐿𝐿𝑒𝑤𝑠ℎ 𝑛yatinang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayo, right? We always do that, right? Or sometimes we say 𝐿𝐿𝑒. Me means mine. So may my merit, right, be beneficial for our relatives. But when we say 𝐿𝐿𝑒, it's actually talk about our relatives. So not just one person, but I think we do plural, right, to many relatives. Okay, so this is something that is good to do. And I took liberty to also took a bit of sutta from Anguttara Nikaya, from Janussoni Sutta, right? This is a conversation between a Brahmin, non-Buddhist, right, to the Buddha. Actually, if you have time and then you read the sutta, right, I enjoy the part when non-Buddhists ask the Buddha, because I think they will ask questions that sometimes we take it for granted. Okay, like in this case, I think Janussoni asked the Buddha, right, about how the offering to ancestors will be beneficial, right? And the Buddha actually explained to Janussoni, there are different destinations of people who pass away according to their deeds. So this portion is actually from those who actually be born in the ghost realms, right? So that's why the first paragraph is talking about people who didn't do good things and then they are reborn in the ghost realms, okay? Then the Buddha explained, for these people, right, who are born in the ghost realm, they survive feeding on the food of the beings in the ghost realms. So there are foods that they can eat over there, and that's how they sustain their life. The most gory one, of course, if you remember my story, the eater of 5 sons, yeah, this ghost can eat the 5 sons. So this is the substance that she can eat, right? Yeah. Or else, they also survive feeding on what friends and colleagues, relatives, and kin provide them with from here. If the conditions are right, so the gift will actually help them to sustain life and also to be reborn in the next. Okay? So the Buddha actually mentioned when the conditions are right. Okay? But Janussoni actually asked a very interesting question. I don't know whether you also have the same question. Basically, he asked the Buddha, right? But what happened if my relative actually doesn't become a ghost? Okay? So if my relative doesn't become a ghost, would it be useful to do sharing of merits? Right? Is that a good use to do that? Okay? Then the Buddha actually mentioned, right? It's impossible, Brahmin. It cannot happen that the place is vacant of departed relatives. So meaning there will be some of our relatives who are born in the ghost realms. Okay? So if we always dedicate merits to our relatives, plural, community, okay, not specific, there will always be those who will benefit from it. This is Buddha's assurance, which is, I think, very true. Okay, very true, because I think it's quite easy to be reborn in the ghost realm, actually. Yeah, very easy. Like from the story you can see, right? Someone is jealous and then like doing harsh speech and then like bad actions, immediately become a ghost, okay? So it's very easy. In fact, we have to be careful, okay, not to be reborn as a ghost, okay? Yeah, then I think I like to also highlight some suttas from Lakkhana suttas, right? This is like a collection. It's like in one book talking about ghosts, right? It's conversation with Arahan Lakkhana about ghosts. Who have conversation with him is actually Venerable Moggallana, because Mahamoggallana is venerable who is very skillful in psychic power, right? So obviously his vision of ghosts is very vivid, very real, the best, okay? Yeah, the best vision. I just give you a snapshot, right, from this sutta. So the story is like that, right? At one time, when the Blessed One was living in the Rajagaha, okay, during those days, these two monks, Venerable Lakkhana and Mahamoggallana, were living in 𝐺𝐫𝐸 mountain. So one day in the morning, Bhante Moggallana dressed in his robes, took his bowl and double-layered robes, and went to Bhante Lakkhana and said to him, "Come, friend Lakkhana, let's go to the city of Rajagaha for alms." So basically, Venerable Moggallana asked him to go for alms round in the morning. Okay, so Bhante Lakkhana replied, yes. Then as they walked, at certain place, suddenly, Bhante Lakkhana saw Bhante Moggallana was smiling. So Bhante Lakkhana asked him, "Why, friend, did you smile?" Okay, then Bhante Moggallana replied, "Friend Lakkhana, this is not the suitable time for that question. Ask me that question when we meet the Blessed One." Then the two of them went for alms and then like returned, had their meals. After they finished their meals, they see the Buddha, right? So when they saw the Buddha and then they pay respect to the Buddha and sat on one side, then Venerable Lakkhana asked Bhante Moggallana, this must be the right time to ask, right? So this morning while you were coming down from the 𝐺𝐫𝐸 mountain, you smiled, right? Bhante Moggallana smiled. Why, friend Moggallana, did you smile? Then Bhante Moggallana replied, "This morning, friend, as I was coming down from 𝐺𝐫𝐸 mountain, I saw a skeleton moving through the air." So not all monks can see the ghost, right? So Bhante Lakkhana didn't see, but Bhante Moggallana saw the ghost. Vultures, crows, and hawks were chasing after it. They were pecking at it between the ribs, stabbing it, and tearing it apart. The skeleton was crying out in pain. I thought then, it is unusual indeed, it's amazing indeed, that there exists such a being, there exists such a non-human, there exists such a life. Okay, a suffering life. Then the Blessed One, the Buddha, addressed the monks. Monks, they are disciples who have gained the divine eye and special knowledge, right? They can know, see, and witness such non-human. Because now you know the reason why Bhante Moggallana want to talk to him only in front of the Buddha, right? Because if he explained there and there, I think Bhante Lakkhana may just say, you are lying, right? I don't trust you. I don't believe you, right? But the Buddha can verify. Then the Buddha say, monks, in the past I too saw that being, but I didn't speak of it. If I had spoken about it, there might have been some people who wouldn't believe my words. If they had not believed my words, it would have led them to their harm and suffering for a long time. Okay, so out of compassion, the Buddha kept quiet, didn't say. Okay, because I think when someone already didn't believe and then like they utter nonsense, like, oh, like sometimes because of our ego, we can say a lot of things. And I think we are not mindful of the harm that it may come upon us. Okay? Then the Blessed One also, like besides verifying what Bhante Moggallana mentioned, he also explained why this skeleton came about, right? He said that non-human being used to be a cattle butcher in the same city of Rajagaha. As a result of the bad karma, he was boiled in hell for many years, for many hundred years, for many thousands of years, and for many hundreds of thousands of years. Technically, he was reborn in hell for a very long time. Wow, being reborn in hell was worse than being a ghost, because like in hell, really there's no way to escape until your bad karma are all used up, okay? Like being come to full fruition. As a remaining result of that same karma, he had been reborn as a ghost, so he continued, but in a better realm, but still experiencing such terrible pain, okay? And in that Lakkhana Sutta, right, it is something a bit more canonical. You will see that actually the Buddha explained there are many, many, many types of ghosts. Okay? Like just now, the one I shared with you was the very first sutta, the skeleton, which is a result of being a cattle butcher. But in another story, there's also like Venerable Moggallana actually saw a piece of meat. So ghost in the form of a piece of meat. And also like that's a result of being a cattle butcher, okay? Then a lump of meat, because a result of being a poultry butcher, okay? The skinless ghost, seeing a result of being a sheep butcher. Then being a sword-like body head ghost, because being a pig butcher, right? Then those who become, there's also a ghost that curved knife-like body head ghost. The hair is actually the knife. That's because being a result of being a deer butcher, right? Then the arrow-like body head ghost, because in the past he was a torturer, okay? Then being a needle-like body head ghost, because he was an evil, before that, right? Arrow-like body head ghost, because being a torturer. Then after that, needle-like body head ghost, as a result of being an evil charioteer, right? Then the needle-like body head, because someone who say bad things about others. There are many. Actually, the story are all similar about Venerable Lakkhana walking with Venerable Moggallana, and then Venerable Moggallana smiled. And then these are all the list of things, right? Then the pot-like testicles, can you imagine? Pot-like testicles. And this is seeing the result of being an evil judge. Being an evil judge, he was born, become a ghost like that. A pit of dung, because seeing the result of engaging in sexual misconduct, okay? Dung eater, seeing a result of insulting the Sangha. Yeah. Then a skinless female ghost, seeing a result of engaging in sexual misconduct. Ugly female ghost, seeing the result of deceiving people. Scots female ghost, seeing the result of acting on jealousy. And headless ghost, seeing the result of being an executioner. Okay, people who execute prisoners or other people. And not only that, there are also the ghosts in the form of evil monk, evil nun, right? Trainee nun, novice monks, novice nun. And I think this is all the results because when they are in the holy life, they don't do good things. Okay, they become like an evil monk, evil nun, and so on, right? And the story can be quite interesting when you saw, how come the monk can also become a ghost, right? So this is the story, very similar, right? Very similar to the first sutta just now. Then the Buddha explanation was, monks, second paragraph, that non-human being had been an evil monk in the Buddha Kassapa's time. So the Buddha can pinpoint, okay, so this ghost, in the past he was a ghost during Buddha Kassapa's time. As a result of that bad karma, he was brought in hell for many years. Yeah, then after that, he became a ghost. All right. So back to Petavatthu, right? I also found a story about what happened if you support an evil monk or nun, right? So this is the story about excrement-eating female ghosts, right? So Bhante Moggallana asked this ghost, "Oh, unlucky one, you are standing in the pit of excrement. Who are you?" why you are standing there, right? What kind of evil deed did you do? And how can I know for sure what happened to you? And the ghost replied, Bhante, I'm a ghost. As a result of my evil deeds, I have been born in this ghost world. I'm suffering very much. Then Bhante Moggallana asked the ghost, what kind of evil deed did you do? And the ghost replied, when I was in the human world, I let a monk stay in my house. The monk was very greedy and jealous of his supporters. I listened to the evil monk's words, followed him, and I too insulted good monks. Okay, that's the evil deed I did, from which I was reborn in the ghost world. Then Bhante Moggallana replied, you associated with that evil monk thinking that he was a good friend. Now, what happened to that monk after death? Bhante, that evil monk has also been born in the ghost world. He is suffering in the same pit of excrement where I suffer. I'm actually standing on his head. He lives as a servant to me here. So he said, Bhante, I have to eat other people's excrement while he has to eat mine. Yeah, so it's a reverse role, but not in the pleasant condition, right? Yeah, so you can see that actually the realm of hungry ghosts, actually it's not actually a realm. They actually share the world with us, right? But the kind of suffering that they have is really a lot, okay? And in fact, I took this from the books, 4 Planes of Existence in Theravada Buddhism, right? They said, out of the many ghosts that just now was listed in the sutta, right? The commentaries can actually do classification of the types of ghosts, right? So in this book, it comes from the Petavatthu commentary, but I couldn't access the actual resource because in Pali. So it was mentioned there are actually 4 types of ghosts. The first one is the Petta who lives on the gifts of others. So basically in the story that I shared earlier, those are the ghosts that can enjoy dedication of merit. Then they can rely on their departed relatives to transfer merit to them, right? So these are the first type of ghosts, which is called Paradatu Pajiwika Petta. So the Petta who can actually live on the gifts of others. Okay? If you read the story of the Bodhisattva, right, before become a Buddha, so Bodhisattva wasn't an enlightened being. So sometimes because of their deeds, they can be reborn as animal or as a ghost as well. So it was mentioned, actually, if the Bodhisattva was born as a ghost, they will be reborn as a ghost of the first type, which is the ghost that can receive and live based on the gift of others. Okay? Because what happened to the other ghosts, the BCD, right? These are the ghosts that cannot receive, basically, the gift of others. Okay? And why is that so? Okay, this is my own interpretation, right? You notice that in order for the ghosts to be able to be reborn or to be able to enjoy the merit that we share, they need to be able to have a good basis, right? What is it? The good thing is they need to be able to rejoice in someone's deed. Can you imagine if, for example, the number 3, Petta who consumed by craving. So day in, day out, basically they feed themselves by craving. They live on craving. So they feel craving. None of the moment, actually, they will have the wholesome thoughts, right? So when people are in that state, let alone being rejoiceful of others, I don't think they have the mind to actually engage in being rejoiced in other good deeds. Okay? Same thing as Petta, who is always hungry and thirsty. I can imagine even for me, if let's say like there's no food, then I'm super hungry and thirsty. I think whatever people do around me, I won't care, I won't bother, right? I just want to find food first. So that's the state of us, right? That's the state of being that we are easily led by our 5 senses, right? So we will ignore people who are doing good deeds and rejoice in it. So ghosts that are in that level of suffering, right, the 2, 3, and 4, I think they don't have the space to rejoice in others. That's why whenever someone shares merit with them, they won't care, right? They won't know, they won't see, they don't even like turn their attention to it and then they don't rejoice, and they don't gain. Okay, that's my interpretations. But what's important is here, right? Just now I mentioned about the chances of being reborn as a ghost. Actually, as long as we haven't reached the state of awakening, right? At least a stream winner, we still run a risk of being reborn in lower realms. Okay? The Buddha mentioned, right, only stream winners will not be reborn in the lower realms. We can be reborn as a human or as a devas. But as long as we are not the stream winner, the chances for us to be reborn in lower realm is still there, including the bodhisattva, right? So what happened is, I think if we happen to be unfortunately reborn in the lower realm, right? Of course, we want to make sure that we have the capacity to go up again, lah. Not forever stay there, okay? Basically, to be the first type of the peta, okay? That's the very least, okay? Because like imagine the story of Queen Malika. Queen Malika is the wife of King Pasenadi, right? She was a very good supporter of the Buddha, right? She actually built a lot of monastery for the Sangha and so on. But there was one action that she did with her dog, right? She did sexual misconduct with the dog. And after that, she lied to King Pasenadi when King Pasenadi actually found her, right? She lied that actually it's not her fault, it's the mirror that caused illusion to King Pasenadi, right? So in the end, King Pasenadi trusts her. Because of that moment, when she passed away, she recalled the moment when she engaged in the sexual misconduct, and then she was reborn in hell. Okay, that's why when King Pasenadi approached the Buddha refused to tell him where is Queen Malika now. But the Buddha actually told King Pasenadi, ask me a week later. Yeah, because what happened is after 7 days, in the story 7 days, but I think in some commentary they also say it's actually a split second. Then Queen Malika, because of the good deeds that she did, she only had a short life as in hell, and then after that she was reborn in the devas, right? So good karma will bear good fruits, but bad karma will also bear the fruits, right? So doesn't mean they are cancelling each other. So she was still reborn in hell for a while, then after that she is reborn as a deva. Only then when King Pasenadi approached the Buddha again, the Buddha say, oh, she's now in the heavenly realm with very nice palace and so on. Okay? Yes, then the king was very happy. And the Buddha didn't lie also. Yes, he just didn't tell the full story because I think he knows when he tells the story in between, I think it may not be good, right? Yeah. So in that case, right, I want to end by saying it is very important for us to know how to rejoice. It is very important for us to know how to cultivate mudita, taking delight in the happiness of others, right? In the current world, it is super challenging because this is the opposite of FOMO, right? The opposite of FOMO, the opposite of being kiasu, you know, the being competitive. And then when someone got it, oh, this guy scored better than me, then wow, I become jealous, and then I want to score better and so on. So this is the kind of world that we live in. But remember, if we keep surrendering ourselves to this kind of mode of operations, we may forget how to do mudita, right? When someone got bonus, when someone got promotion, jealousy come. Hey, why not me, leh? Right? Hey, how come this guy, what does he do? He does nothing, 𝐿𝑘𝐽 only. But how come he can be promoted? So these are all like the opposite of mudita. Okay? And imagine the ghost that cannot receive the merit because he cannot rejoice in the good deeds offered to him. So we need to learn how to cultivate mudita. Take delight in happiness of others. Okay? So when actually the importance of meditation is, at least we can bring our state to neutral state first and give us more space to respond, right? Like when someone got promotion, maybe, instead of jealousy, I think bring ourselves to neutral state first. Or hold on, don't respond. I think I just center myself. After I center myself, I can think, hey, this is a good chance for me to be happy for him, right? Yes, in my own view, he doesn't do anything. But I'm sure people may see him or her do like the right thing that enable him or her to get promotion, right? And this part I don't know because I'm not the all-knower. Okay, so yeah, I think if we have that state of mind, we can slowly cultivate mudita, to rejoice, right? And to cultivate mudita, actually, to be honest, the opportunity is really, really, really plenty, right? When we go out, walking, for example, if you go out to your office and then like walking from home to MRT station and all, you can see what people are doing. Sometimes you can see that there was one day I saw one grandfather playing with the grandchild, okay, in the park. When I saw it, I feel very joyful. Suddenly I can feel joyful because I can feel, wow, the grandfather must have a very good time. So I rejoice in the happiness of them because I also imagine some of us may not even know our grandfather from young, okay, because we don't have the chance to do that. So I'm rejoicing of the opportunity that this grandfather has, right, and this grandchild has. So we can actually cultivate mudita in very, very small way, but make it a habit. Because if we don't make it a habit, if we are born as a ghost, it's too late. We don't have the habit, and then we only run just based on the habitual engine. Everything is really by the habit. It's like a machine. So very pitiful, right? Yeah. So now that we can still take actions, we do it. Okay, rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. If we can rejoice in the goods of others, it's very easy as a ghost to also rejoice. Okay, so in case we fall in that state, we can still save ourselves, go up. Okay, and to be able to be rejoiceful to others, I think we need to cultivate what we call abundance mindset, that we don't see happiness as scarcity. Like if someone is happy, then I'm not happy, Then if like someone got promotion, I don't get, and so on, right? This is a scarcity mindset that is cultivated by society. But instead, we need to see it as abundance, right? See it as a team, as community, right? I mean, it's not possible, right, for a company that everyone become the CEO, right? It's not possible. And as CEO also, we need someone to assist me in doing all other different jobs. Okay, so I think if we can see it as community, have better perspective of it, we see abundance in our life. When we see abundance, then it is much easier for us to be rejoiceful, okay, to do rejoice to other people, happiness and joy. Okay? All right, I think I end my sharing here. Maybe do we have questions?
Anyone? No questions? Oh, there.
Hello, thank you for the enlightening talk. I'm curious, does that mean that all ghosts are hungry ghosts? That's one question I always had before, so yeah, I'm curious to know.
Okay. No, actually the answer is not, right? So not all ghosts are hungry ghosts. Yeah, there are hungry ghosts, but there are also other types of ghosts. Yeah, just now if you see the list of the ghosts here, right, from here, you can see like not all of them are hungry. Yeah, but one common denomination is they are all suffering. Yeah, but the suffering can be at different kind of suffering here. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Dream, and then they will have 4D number, and then they go and buy. Is there some truth in this?
Okay, because I don't know what happens, because I heard sometimes it's true lah. I heard sometimes it's true, but we can never verify it, right? Unless we have the the Dharma eye to see, right? But I think my point is dreams can be deceiving lah, because dreams sometimes can be born out of imaginations, right? So I think not all dreams are reality actually. Yeah. In fact, I think, yeah, some people may say, right, oh, I dream I met my past relative and then like she looks very happy. Yeah, sometimes this is the way they pass the message, but sometimes it can also be one's imagination. Yeah, because she wants to be comforted, then she think that way and then appear in the dream. Yeah, so I think some yes, some no, but I think the only way to prove it, if only we can see through Dhamma eye lah. Yeah, we haven't cultivated. I think I'm always at the safest side like that. I don't take it wholesale. Yeah, then I think I will just say that yeah, whatever happen, I will dedicate merits to the relatives. Okay, I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Brother Louis, for a wonderful talk this morning. Just a personal curious question. Of course, I think sharing merits is the most useful thing. But I mean, like, for example, in this Hungry Ghost Month and so on, right? Just now you also mentioned that Petas, the ghosts, sharing the same realm as us, right? Just that we cannot see. They could, some of them could receive things that's offered by human beings in this in this world. So question is, like, you know, like the things that people put out for offering fruits and stuff, actually can Petas receive that then? Thank you.
Okay, I think when they said this one, right, in the commentary it's mentioned actually, for Peta who are the first type of Peta who live on the gift of others, actually they, some of them can receive. But actually when they receive, it doesn't mean that they eat the food physically. Yeah, I think the energy of it, the subtle part of it. Yeah, that's why when you see the food, it's like there's no change. But I think for the Peta, they feel comforted that the family has offered the food for him, and then he was invited to eat the food, and I think he will eat it in the mind or something. Yeah. So for the first Peta, yes, they actually can. They can live on the gifts of others. Yeah. But I think, as we all know, I think there are part of it that become tradition as well. And this is also my own interpretation, right? Also depends on the mindset of those who become a Peta, right? Can you imagine, for example, someone debating which one is a better way of treating the body of someone who passed away? Is it cremation or actually buried, right? And actually the answer is it depends on the person, how she wants to be done. Because I think for someone who believes that being buried is good for her, right? Then you cremate her, I think the person will not be happy. And also vice versa, right? So same thing, I think if someone is holding on to a tradition that, oh, when I die later, I hope my family still do the burning of the money and all, and dedicate to him and so on, right? So I think if they have that idea, they will actually look for it. Yeah. Yeah, that's why the Buddha always said that for the tradition part, I think as long as it is not harmful, we still do as a form of filial piety. Okay, but don't forget to dedicate merits, because the one that really helped them to be reborn in the good place is dedication of merit.
When we say the dedication of merits, does it only go to the relatives in the ghost realm, or even if the departed relatives have been born in a human realm, it's still dedicated to them?
Yeah, in particular is those who are in the ghost realm, because if they are born in the human realm, technically they won't know, so they won't be rejoicing in our good deeds, lah. Because I think human realm, they may not even know that who is my relative. Yeah, but I think the Buddha also mentioned, even though you share merits and then the person is no longer there, the merit is not wasted away, because technically you are doing goods. Yeah, and also that's why in Janussoni Sutta, the Buddha also mentioned, don't just dedicate merit to a particular relative, but we invite all relatives, our past relatives, and all beings who have karmic connection with me to enjoy in these merits. Yeah, so with that, like what he said, it will not be void from, beings reborn in the ghost realms. Yeah.
One more question there.
Okay, two more. Oh, sorry, one more here first. Sorry.
Are there stories that say human being affected by evil
evil ghosts? Like, sometimes I hear stories like people commit suicide because they see ghosts before, encounter ghosts. I think not in the suttas. Yeah, but I think in real life there may be such stories lah. Yeah, in real life maybe such stories. But I think from my experience, actually when ghosts approach us, it's really because they need help. Yeah, not so much about like the horror movie, they want to scare you or something. They really need help, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Well, I think now even evil and ghosts, they're afraid of human because they become the scapegoat of human. When human did something wrong, because of evil, because of the ghost. Okay, Brother Luis, I have a question. I'm not sure whether this is relevant or not, but you know, Buddha has been teaching to all kinds of realm, because he's he's an ordinary person, right? Now, when just now about the Tissa and Matta, it seems like what happens, what Matta did, it happened to her right away in next life, right? But sometimes when I listen to a lot of Buddhist coach, when they talk about karma, you know, when you do this, you're gonna get this. When you do this, you're gonna become like this. So, is there any sutta or parts of Buddhism teaching that Buddha have a kind of formula? You know, we cannot just say, oh, when you did something, not appropriate sexually, then you become like this. So it must come with a lot of, formulation, this and that, in such a way that, turns out that it's not that too bad, you know. This person has become like a ghost, but on a light realm, but while the other one is go all the way to the hell. Is there any such? Thank you.
Okay, I think if you ask about law of karma, maybe like the explanation of karma, actually the Buddha explained there are two suttas about karma, which is Chula Vibhanga Sutta, Chula Karma Vibhanga Sutta, and Mahakama Vibhanga Sutta. In those suttas, actually the Buddha explained like what good deed, and then like generate what consequences and action and so on. But the thing is, the very fact is the Buddha also mentioned that to fully understand the law of karma, actually you need to become an arahant. Yeah, I think for us, we still have limitation because we can only see we have limit in what we can see. So to fully comprehend the law of karma, actually you need to be enlightened. Yeah, so that's why if you ask me whether there's such formula, I would say if there is, will be super complex. Yeah, super complex because there are a lot of conditions involved in order for certain things to generate consequence. Yeah, there are so many things. Yeah, so I think when the Buddha explained about, oh, this goes because of the bad deed that she did, then she was reborn dead, I think that could be pertinent to that ghost. So when I read it, I see it, oh, this is the case study lah. This is a bit like case study, like because this ghost did this, and then the result is this. But doesn't mean like everyone who did that will reap the result in the same way. Okay.
Thank you, Brother Luis, for the talk. I really enjoyed it. I come from Myanmar, and one of the things I kept hearing over there is that there's a type of ghost where they will suffer in the night and enjoy in the day, like half ghost and half yeah. Do they exist? I don't know if it's true or not, or it's just a story.
I'm not sure. But I think I came from Indonesia also when there are a lot of ghost stories. And I think I have some friends who can see, and I think from them, I know that they exist, right? They also exist. So it's possible they exist. Because last time in my curious journey, I was also like wondering, how come like Dracula and all only happen in the West, but there's no such thing in Eastern country. Yeah, but I think it's all about the type of ghosts that I think locally, so-called, yeah, the culturally or locally, because people believe in that, so when they pass away, become like that. Possible? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Luis. As you were answering the question earlier about karma, I was thinking of my teacher, Reverend Dhammananda. I think there was once he mentioned something like, there are many things that we have done wrong, and karma can take its effect. Some are immediate, some are much later, some can be in next lives, that kind of thing. So he was also saying that we need to do a lot of good karma, you know, and hopefully the good karma will take its effect, in that kind of idea. The one question I would like to ask you is that you mentioned about Matta. I was just wondering, does the sutta say anything about why Matta seemed to know all the answers to what's happening to her? I'm just wondering. Thank you.
Okay, I think apparently when you are reborn in ghost realms or deva realm, you will remember your past life. Yeah, unlike human, I think human, I'm not sure why, but my own interpretation again, human, as when you are reborn, you start from developing, like being a baby again, where your brain is developed. You learn a way to live in the world again. So I think a lot of past memories we haven't been able to recall. But I think the Buddha explained there are several types of births, right? So like being reborn, like a ghost or devas, that one is like spontaneous rebirth. It's like you are born immediately like that. So you will still remember what happened to your previous life. Yeah. So actually, if you read Petavatthu, a lot of ghosts remember what happened to him or her. That's why I think when we say that it is too late to regret, yeah, sometimes it becomes the situation when I read the Petavatthu. Like the ghost regretted that she did that. If I knew, I wouldn't do that, but it already happened. Welcome.
Brother Luis, do you have any personal stories or they are friends-related stories? That will be interesting, yeah.
Okay, I think I can share one. Actually, this one I want to share that actually ghost is not as scary as we thought, okay? During the last meditation retreat in Thailand, during my meditation, actually there was a ghost come to me, right? This ghost is a Thai lady. When I look at the ghost, I think at the time because I was meditating, so when I look at the ghost, I wasn't scared because I see, actually not as scary as I thought. Yeah, just a very normal, I think normal appearance, just a bit pale. Right? I think that's what I see. But also my image wasn't very vivid, wasn't very clear. So it's just like very, very vague like that. Yeah. So what I did was like immediately I have intuition, or that ghost want to be helped. Right, so actually I dedicate merit to this lady lah. So I actually told this lady, thank you for coming to me. Right, I told her that I've been doing meditation retreat and this is my 3rd day. So this is a good thing because I enjoy myself and then like developing my mind, and I think able to do meditation is a good thing. So I invite you to also rejoice in what I do, and by rejoicing, may you be reborn in the good place. Yeah, so I think after I said that, it disappeared. Yeah. My vision of disappeared, I don't know whether this is my imagination or something, but I feel like this goes like going up in the white light. But that could be my imagination, I don't know. Yeah, but basically it affirms me, right? If you share merit, you do good things, and then when they come to you, they actually want to be helped. Yeah, they want to seek help. Yeah, that's my personal story.
Thank you, Brother Luis. What about the friends who can see ghosts?
Well, I think I should let them tell the story for themselves. Because I think for those who can see, they see a lot of images, and then they share the images, sometimes clear, sometimes not clear. Yeah. But I think I know my friends who can see, they do meditation for a very long time. Yeah, as a result of the practice.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Luis. One more question. Okay.
Sorry, Brother Louis. I was just thinking, I was thinking of this friend of mine, maybe also a story of the experience. But I must say that this person, I've already known her like more than 30 years. and I know she's really walking the path of the Buddha. So it's a long story, but I cut it short. Basically, there was maybe if I can say ghost, I'm not sure a demon or whatever. There was this lady that appeared to her and was very angry with her because she actually helped another lady that this being was unhappy with. And so my friend offered to share merits to her, you know. So she did it for 7 days. So fortunately that there was a monk, a highly cultivated monk that came to town, and she gave dana. And she said after the 7th day, this being appeared to her, and in this time, she was so beautiful. She was like a deva, you know, and then she related the story, the long story, what happened. So just to share to you all, so from her experience and many other experiences, I come to understand and also appreciate the power of transference of merits. It does help, because my friend is not going to lie, right? This is her path, no? She's not going to lie for things like that. So just to share with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, sister. Yeah, I think it aligns with the story in Petavatthu, right? You notice that in the story, after dedication of merit, and then the ghosts rejoice, then they are reborn basically like appear like a deva and all. Like just now, even the Matta and Tissa, right? The Matta, after enjoying the merit that shared with her, then she appeared as a deva to Tissa. So I think this is really real. I think it aligns with the experience of people that I know as well. Yeah. So I think when they say Dhamma is 𝐴𝑗𝑝, right, it's really true, you know, that you can actually prove what is written in the suttas, right, in the daily life. And I think when we hear such of that story, I hope that we all use it to strengthen our faith, our saddha, in the practice, in the Dhamma, right, in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. I think it's really true, because like it's not possible for the Buddha to actually show us what all he can see. He always say the one that what he knows is like the amount of leaves in the forest, but what he teaches us is only like a handful of sinsapa leaves in the palm of the hands. Because he said that the reason is because a lot of them are not connected. Maybe cannot be explained, right? But what he teaches are really the Four Noble Truths. It's the one that is really the key medicines to our sickness. Yeah, but I think for the rest of the aspect of the Dhamma, we can really prove it. But the thing is, not everyone develop in the same way, lah. Yeah, so some of us may not have that experience. Some may have that experience.
Okay, thank you. Let's say 3 sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.